In one of the most recent Minecraft snapshots, we were given the campfire block, which luckily at this one has already been given an updated model because let's be honest, the one that was added in through this snapshot is not that great. However, in today's video, I wanted to go ahead and take a look at a few different uses that we can come up here for our Minecraft campfire. Obviously, you can go ahead and use this thing for cooking, but there's a lot of great things about this block, and let's be honest, most of those are not actually the block itself. It's the smoke particles that come up out of the top of the block. There's so much interesting, cool stuff that we can go ahead and do with these designs. So anyways, we got 12 of them here that I am super excited to share with you guys today. Some are revamps of old things that I created a long time ago, and we finally are able to use them with our smoke trails themselves. So here's a little bit of a glimpse. Let's go ahead and jump into these. First up is probably the most obvious design for a campfire, using it as a campfire in the middle of a little bit of a campground. I love this idea here, just going ahead and doing this. The campfire itself, if you check this out at nighttime, set night, you can see that the campfire really doesn't give that much light off. So from a long distance away, you'd barely see the glow of the campfire. Probably, honestly, you'd see the smoke more above it, and I'd love the idea of this just hidden somewhere in a forest. Now, design number 2 here is making use of the smoke particles to kind of hang in the air, but also really using the campfire block itself as a fireplace, because obviously there's a little bit of a issue with Minecraft itself, and wood being some of the best building blocks in the game when it comes to making fireplaces, is our previous fires, unless you're using the fire tick turned off in your Minecraft world, all of this stuff would light on fire and burn down. However, with the campfires, that doesn't happen. So we can go ahead and make a little bit of a chimney here, give it somewhere for the smoke to escape, moving up into the air. And then also I went ahead and threw in these iron bars so it would hold some of the smoke down here and give a really cool kind of musky feel to it. I love the idea of using these for some grand fireplaces in some like sitting rooms like this one, or maybe some giant big old throne room feast hall, something or another. Now, this next one is very much inspired by a trip that I recently took up to Whistler, Canada. It was snowing like crazy up there. There was snow everywhere on the ground, but as soon as you got off the mountain for the day, one of the best things to do was jump into the hot tub. There were outdoor hot tubs freaking everywhere, and you could barely see across the little hot tub areas because there's so much steam coming off of that hot water. So I thought the campfire here, with its smoke being able to travel up through water, was going to be one of the greatest ideas that we could use for it. Probably the only futuristic or modern build ideas that you're going to see. Problem is there's no way to actually have a floor going down into this guy. It's only going to be campfire going all the way down there. But we got our drinks by the hot tub, we got our hot tub itself, and we got the snow piled up outside. I think that sounds like a great night to me. Next up, one of the more simple ones, but probably one of the most practical uses for the campfire, simply throwing a cauldron on top of our campfire. You can make it look like the campfire is actually cooking whatever is inside this bubbling water here in a cauldron, and now we actually have a way to heat these guys. Before, previously, that was just a water holder. Now we can actually make it look like this thing is heating without risking burning down the fences that would be holding this stuff up. I tried going ahead and making this with iron bars, but unfortunately in survival itself, you'll see here that iron bars actually don't get stuck to the cauldron, so there's not really a way that we can do that without the cheaty debug stick. Coming over to our next build, we obviously have the Brazier. This is something that's very usable inside of Minecraft itself, and could be a great way to plop these across the top of the mountains or wherever you're going, light the fires of Gondor, all that good stuff. As you're traveling across your Minecraft land, you could just dot these guys throughout the place, or even lining the city streets, and you can always find your way because of the smokestack up above, which is just a great little simple design here. I'm really a big fan of this one. The next one I have for you is something that I used to love creating back in Conquest, because Conquest has the ability to actually have smoke blocks itself in here. You can see a little bit of an idea of what's going on in here. This guy is a smoking shack. So you're able to put your meats in here, hang them up in the walls, and just go ahead and light one of these campfires, and the smoke will just smoke all the meat and make it super tasty. I thought this was a great idea. Previously, we really didn't have a way to do this besides filling the areas with cobwebs, which wasn't the easiest thing to move inside of, so it was more look at it from the distance. But I love the idea of doing this, throwing it on the edge of your little village, something off in the distance, or like hidden in the middle of the wilderness, something like that. I think it'd be a great addition to any world. And you can add in these little windows in here with more trapdoors so you can actually see the smoke and everything like that. Doesn't look too great from the outside right now, but from the inside, that's where it really matters. Now, for our next idea here, this is going back to a book that I read in my childhood. I can't remember the name of it right now, but basically the story starts with a Native American person sitting on top of a hill, picking all the flowers and just making paints and dyes out of them so they can paint this beautiful canvas out in front of them, whatever it would be, this awesome flat grasslands and the big blue sky. So obviously you need a lot of blue because there's a lot of sky here. But what we can go ahead and do here is kind of build off of that idea of sitting on a little bluff and turn this into a sort of a watch post. Using our hay bale block down below the campfire smoke itself, as you all probably know by now, extends about 3 times as high into the sky. So it's really easy to see from everywhere. You could use this design in the braziers that we're looking at previously, but this would be a great way to have somebody up here. They're basically like stationed on top of this little lovely hill up here, looking out over all of the important things going on. They can chill back here on their seat, and then if things get bad, they can light the fire and alert all their friends and family that are back down in the village. But those things make a little bit of lag when they're going all the way up there. The next idea here is a rather simple one, but the campfire block itself, as we obviously know, and you guys have probably heard a million times by now, makes a great chimney design. One way I've found that we can actually go ahead and hide the campfire block in there itself pretty well is using a 3 wide, so basically making a little plus symbol here for our chimney to go ahead and allow us to throw a campfire block down in there and have the smoke come up. And if you throw a brick wall on top of it, or any type of wall really, it doesn't have to be a brick one, but that can actually help the smoke go up even higher. I do want to go ahead and test something though. If we grab a flower pot here to make it look like there's a little bit of a chimney spike, does that stop all of it? Some of it still goes out, some more of it's stopping, but you can see there's a little bit of a hole right in there. That could almost make it look like the smoke's traveling up even farther, which I think is a pretty cool idea. Now this one is probably the most laggy one and particle heavy one that we'll see in this entire area here. And this is supposed to be like a bog type swamp area that I'm kind of stealing a little bit from the Lord of the Rings here. When Gollum is leading Frodo and Sam across the swamp of, I don't really know what the name of it is, in the 3rd movie, or maybe the 2nd movie, I don't remember, where they're basically told to not follow the lights through the swamp. Don't go against the lights. And I wanted to go ahead and build something that kind of use that here. And you can see down below, we're using some carpet with some campfires down below to basically allow that smoke to travel up and get caught onto the carpets. I will say I cannot take credit for this idea. I did see this on one of System Z's videos. He did something similar to this, and I want to go ahead and expand on the idea a little bit more. So I do want to give credit where it's due there. Then to go ahead and bring in our bog feel even more, the Wither Rose, one of the new flowers that we're getting, you can see has a little bit of a burning particle effect on it. So that adds more particles in here, creates even more of a mystical environment. Then you throw some soul sand down there in the water, you get the bubbles going, and this just looks like one super nasty place that you never really want to go to. Minecraft has always been something that where I've always wanted to make a super realistic forge environment. I love my medieval builds, I love my blacksmiths, I love all those things, and I feel like one way that we're finally able to achieve this is because campfire blocks, the smoke actually comes out of the block above them. So what we can do here is actually hide some campfires down there below our magma blocks, which are looking like a molten alloy or something like that in here. We can go and hide those guys in there and use that to create some smoke going all the way up. Then obviously we are at a 1 block high chimney up here, so we're using our spruce trapdoors to hide another one of these inside. Then here we're placing some walls above it, then some iron trapdoors just to help it kind of get stuck there a little bit more and kind of hold that smoke in and kind of keep as much of the heat in there as we possibly can. But occasionally you'll see a puff or two going all the way up there, which I think is really cool. I love the idea that some of them don't really make it out. They're being stuck in there. Overall though, I think this is the one where I've finally started to use the most of the new 1.14 blocks coming out. We got our smithing table, we got our blast furnace, the grindstone, all that good stuff. We got a bunch of barrels around, and oh man, I am so freaking excited to start doing some new building things moving in that new update. This one here is something that is probably the most simple design you will ever see from me, but I randomly did this just to check it out, and I love it. This is so awesome. I feel like this would belong on like a beach area or something like that. You can even go ahead and top it off there to make it a little bit taller. But basically just using an acacia log surrounded by acacia trapdoors, that campfire looks awesome. That would be a great way to just light your way throughout the darkness, walking along like a really rural type of village. I love this. I think that's a great idea for it. The last idea here, one that is probably something that not too many people would really think of, but I just absolutely love this one. We are making a brick making kiln. So inside this area is somewhere that you would want to have a lot of pressure. You throw all of your clay in it. All of it cooks up to the perfect temperature with a bunch of hot fire, a bunch of smoke in there, holding all of that stuff in, and we get our lovely, lovely bricks out of it. So in here, we have our brick oven. You can see all of our clay cooking up with the fireplaces down below them, so we get the smoke coming out the top of them. We got a few bits of scaffolding in here to make it fit a little bit better in there, make it just have a little bit more like it looks like these things are resting on top of, basically they're like in a brick mold or something like that. One important thing that I do like to add back here that I actually didn't add onto this one is you gotta have some way for the smoke to get out. So maybe instead of that though, we go ahead and turn this guy into, let's go ahead and just do a full block right there, grab you and turn that up so we can get some of that smoke coming out the back of there. So obviously this thing doesn't combust from being too closed off. I hope you all did enjoy today's video, looking at a few different uses we have for the campfire here. I feel like 1.14 is really bringing in a bunch of very versatile blocks that we can use in so many different ways. I'm very excited to start looking forward into the new snapshots that we're going to be getting, and hopefully we'll see those savanna updates as well as the desert update coming in here pretty soon with those new wood types, because I think those things will be so much fun to mess around with. Anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please let me know down in the comments below if you guys have any additional designs that we should be including in this area, other uses for different ways that we could use our campfire block inside of Minecraft itself, or if you guys have other ideas on blocks that we can look into to see what uses they have for themselves there. I know, for example, the grindstone right there has a bunch of them. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please hit that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new, it means a bunch to me, and I will catch you on the flip side.